Hi guys, and welcome back. Monday Fun Day, Easter week is done and over with. We can finally get back to normal here and start getting back into the swing of things, seeing that my Easter break is about to end. So, again, for those of you who are new, I picked the Hemlock and Oak 2025 weekly planner from a budget planner this year. I absolutely love it, and I think that I'm going to continue with the weekly planner from here on out. I just, I love how it streamlines all of my budgeting. So, just to do a really quick flip through, I'm gonna try to speed this up today, guys. I did go ahead and start getting that self reflection done. Again, this is something that I've been struggling with for this year. So I did start filling this in. It's a little tough, but it is definitely worth it once you get it completed. I'm going to finish this up today. And for the first goal for the year is I picked to get those store cards at a balance of 0. Again, just because having any balances on these accounts takes away funds that could be used to pay down the debts, which we're going to see a little bit of this later on. Um, Again, I am somebody who likes to overspend, overbuy, emotional spending. So that really does put a damper on the whole paying down the debts thing. We can see we've made some progress for this year. We're still working on that Amazon household and Walmart household. Gonna try my best to get these things done with before the half of the year. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but it is once you start looking at the other debts that I have to pay. Again, they give you a nice, generous amount of goal setting pages. Um, Again, the daily habit that I've been doing is to save $5 a day. This really helps me set that emergency fund because, my favorite saying is those emergency savings save your butt. So they have come in handy more than once. And for some reason, this is the number one way that I have of putting back and setting aside money for these types of situations. I've tried the $50 out of every paycheck. I've tried the $20 every week. There was just something about this $5 a day that just works for me. And I think it's because I can visually see myself putting $5 into like paying at a drive through every day, and I have no problem with it. So technically, I should have no issue with doing $5 a day for myself. So, pay yourself first. And again, they give you nice amounts. You get 2 habits per page. Um, okay, the daily framework here. Again, I really didn't see how this page was necessary for a budget planner, but at the same time, this page has been really helpful and really insightful. It lets me know to do my budgeting early on in the morning whenever I have a higher amount of energy. I just focus better and I make better decisions at this time instead of waiting until I get home from work, which we could see is like 1 to 3 in the morning. Um, I'm drained and I really don't make the best decisions, guys. And that's normally whenever what I call that naughty spending, occurs. So it's best if I stay off the phone, because a lot of my banks are digital and that. So, once you're on the phone, then you start shopping. So I just kind of do everything in the morning now. And again, these self-care activities here are generally free. So it's also gave me a new perspective towards taking time out for self care because apparently I save money whenever I do this. Okay, so moving right along here, this is my projected payoff. Um, all I did is take all of my I took all the debts that I owe right here. So again, this is the list that we're working with for this year. And I kind of made my own little debtors payoff sheet. This just made it a lot easier, guys. Each block is $10. So when I go to pay a bill, like Ally was one of them, it was only, I feel like it was 52. I bumped it up to 60. That way I could color in 6 blocks. Um, in a weird way, it does kind of help you pay a little bit more towards your debts. But yeah, no, I took those amounts. Kind of did a payoff plan. I like Stabit.com, the debt payoff planner app. I do have those linked down below, or you could just do the pen and paper method, which is what I did here. This is the slow mo, bare minimum payments, and that's how I got my projected dates. So we can see Perks was projected to be paid off April 13th. I got it paid off March 23rd. PSDCU is projected to be paid off July 27th. I'm shooting for somewhere in June, and I'm going to make it happen, guys. I'm just going to make it happen. And then I highlight the weeks as we go, and then that way I can see how long it took me to pay each of those accounts off. And I mean, you can see, guys, we got a long way to go. It is a long journey. And again, the trick is not to make more debt as we go along. Um, Okay, so we can see April has actually been a very quiet month. It's nothing like January, February, and March, which were just crazy and wild. I guess I can put the oil change in for April. I might do that later on today. Um, but yeah, no, this is my year at a glance here. So this is like birthdays, holidays. I do the vehicle expenses such as the car inspection, the registration of plates, driver's license renewals. If I have large amounts of money coming in and out, so that's the insurance funds and the taxes. And for this year, I started adding in doctor's appointments, so those are in blue. And what else do we have? Okay, so normally I would just mark if I paid the Target, which is kind of weird because I have Target right beside it, but the Target, the Focus account. So from this page, we could see it was Perks, and then we're moving to PSECU. So normally all of these like other red marks on here wouldn't be on here. It would just be Perks. I decided to add those store cards that we saw up here on the goals page. And then that way I can start to see, like, why did it take me so long to pay off Perks? And it becomes really clear once you start seeing all these other red marks here because, I was paying off all of these stupid store cards. So, again, that takes away funds that I could be putting towards the actual, what I call my actual debt account. Because I mean, Perks would have been paid off in January if I didn't have these other things to pay on. So, that's kind of like my quick summary here for that year at a glance page. I refer to it as my dashboard. Um, okay, so what we got going on here, these are the quarterly pages. I thought it would be neat to track all of my payments towards that focus account, the target account. So these would be the payments that I made towards the My Perks. I do start with the balance on the account at the beginning. I kind of do like an estimated balance as we're going through. So if I made a $230 payment, that means the balance was 503. Perks is a little different because it was my spending account at the same time. So that's why the balance is so jumpy on it, which I did stop using it for a week just to get the actual amount I needed so I could actually pay the stupid thing off. Another thing that I started doing is beforehand, I would only write the balance down once at the beginning of the year. And this year I started tracking the balance every first of the following month. So like these numbers here, this would be February 1st, March 1st, April 1st. And this way I can track and see um, how my payments are affecting the balances. Are they actually going down? The main one that I learned was Discover. Discover went up, which is not good. Never want to see that. So I got a 0% balance transfer offer from Ally, and we quickly moved that on there so that we could start seeing that the balance is now going down. Because, at the end of the day, we want to see this total debt owed go to zero. That is the end goal. Um, like I said, this has been a long journey, guys. When I did originally start this, my list was like this big. So, it still feels like a lot, but all I gotta do is drag out that old planner and just look and see what I had. And it's like, you know what? I can do this. I can definitely, get this done. Again, it's slow and steady wins the race here. So, ooh, I can mark that down. I did, uh, let's see here. Where are you at Easter dinner? 7509. See, look at that, guys. Easter got me going. 7509. Okay, so this is my seasonal spending page. And the whole purpose of this is to just give me a quick glance at seasonal items where I'm not really going to be thinking about those things at a different month. My favorite example is the liquid salt for the driveway in January. Come July, I'm not thinking about liquid salt for the for the driveway. It's just really not on my mind. I'm thinking about sea salt. So this way, whenever I go to set up my budget planner for next year, I can look at this page and say, ooh, I'm going to need money for snow removal. I'm going to need money for Ray's birthday. I'm going to need money for shamrock shakes because that is my big thing in March. Money for taxes. It's just a way that I could start planning ahead. Again, the more you can plan ahead for this type of stuff, the better you are because things don't come as a surprise. And let's see here. I feel like I've flipped through this stuff enough for you guys. These are all in the previous videos. And again, they give you this nice monthly review at the end. So that was January. Just a quick flip through of February. Whew. And, okay, so this is March. This is what we were leading out of going into April. We can see March was a big spendy month. February, not so much. And again, a quick flip through, guys. And that gets us right into April here. So again, my number one boundary for April is not to buy any plants. It's been really tough this last week, guys. I'm seeing so many gorgeous plants that I want to adopt and bring home. But the main thing I tell myself is I will probably kill those poor plants, so best to leave them in the store. And again, the 3 ways that I'm doing self-care for this month is I'm working on that painting, I go tanning, and reading. I'm really hoping to finish this series out by the end of the month. The main intention for the month was to start paying off PSECU, and my goal that I gave myself was 360 for the month. Ooh, I paid 100. But I do like putting that number in there because it is always on my mind of how can I snuggle some extra funds out and try to get as close to that goal as possible. And of course, the milestone from the goal page is to keep working on those store cards. And Walmart The Walmart account is the one that I'm looking at next, just because I made some purchases back in March that I shouldn't have, and I figured if I'm going to be paying on those, then that gets me into the mindset of how can I, um, snuggle some money on the Walmart at the same time. We can see that my daily habit of only charge what you can cover, I know, but again, I have to keep repeating it to myself because we can see, guys, not going so well. April, not going so well. Have I bought any plants? No. Have I overcharged? Oh, yeah. And again, I do this nice little list here of the do you really need these? I finally got the HP photo paper. It's been on the list since January. And of course, we can see the big thing for this month was setting up the website and the blog because that is it's just something that I want to pursue. It's been on my mind for the last 4 years, and for some reason, I felt like this was the time. But I did put it on a 0% offer. Did I need to accumulate more debt? No, but what I'm hoping is going to happen is that it will finally start to generate some income, more revenue, and then that way again I can start taking care of this. um I make little mini payment trackers. Again, these are for like all of the excess that we see on here. If I can't cover it that day, it gets a little tracker, and we can see that the transmission that I put on the perks card is paid. Um, the SB pills, there's vitamin pills, and the car insurance I put on Chase, again 0%. I just did that because I save more money by buying these in bulk, and of course the car insurance you pay less if you pay the full 6 months. So I'm just keeping track of those every month whenever I do the payments. The hairdryer and storage on Walmart, again, those were things I shouldn't have done. I got the hairdryer paid off. Probably going to pay the storage off later on this week. And again, we can see we have added more trackers because of this. This is a list I would like to reduce. We did really good in February. I believe this was because of the fear of the dentist bills. So far, I still haven't got any dentist bills, guys. I don't know where they are. There's no way my insurance covered everything. But, yeah, yeah, we can see March and April especially were big spending months. And that, again, is something I really need to work on. Let's get that overspending under control and start paying down the debts. It's easier to write it than to actually do it. So, the monthly layout, again, this is just that nice visual of letting me know when the bills are due, what pay period needs to cover those bills. So we can see like the 4th was the pay period. So anything from the 4th through the 17th needs to be covered by the 4th. Of course, if I have anything left over, I can start to just start working on these ones as well. But again, I cannot use those monthly budget sheets, guys. I tried and failed so many times. I believe this is like my version of the Budget Moms paycheck by paycheck. So I don't know. This is the easiest way that I got to do it, and I already have a monthly layout in my planner, so that's what I just utilized it for. Another thing that you're going to notice is that this page is really busy. There's a lot of accounts on here, like we could see Best Buy, Perks, Capital Q, JCP. These are all paid off long ago. At one time, each of these did have a minimum balance due. I do keep what I call the did accounts. I keep those on here Just one, as a friendly reminder that I used to have to owe on these. I don't know how I did it. And two, it just reminds me to go on and look at the account. Is there a transaction on there that isn't mine? Is there like a yearly fee? Is there an interest fee? Just anything to make me look at that account and just make sure that, it's behaving as it should be. So that's my monthly. Okay, so going into the weeklies, we can see very busy. April was a very, very busy inactive month. This is the week that we are on right now. Um, so I always start by doing the focus for the week, which mine was to reduce the spending. I really didn't listen to my focus this week, guys. I still did the overspending. I was supposed to pay off all the extra spending. I got most of it. There's still a lot that I need to handle. And of course, I relist all of those bills that are due for the week. Again, just, it's double checking. I'm making sure that I'm not getting any missed payments. Definitely with how many accounts that I have, it's very easy to. Um, the next thing that I do is I do the general mood of the day. Again, with me being an emotional spender, if I start noticing that I'm having like a really bad week, again, I apologize, guys. My voice does get scratchy. Um, when I talk a lot. But yeah, if I have a week like this, it means bad things are about to happen. I am just down, 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 and that somehow turns into like really good moments, and it seems to be that if I have a week of followed by a ooh yeah, I'm getting excited about things, that's when the overspending starts to happen. So I really do need to tap into that there and learn to avoid the phone. Because I am an online shopper. It takes a lot for me to get into an actual physical store. I'm not afraid of me actually going anywhere and overspending. It's getting on the phone and saying, ooh, I'm feeling pretty good, let's do this. That's the danger time. Okay, so we can see I actually had 2 no spend days last week, so that was good. I do keep the bills and the actual spending separate, and of course, I add little journaling areas just to, check and see how I'm doing throughout the week. Yeah. The oil change here. I got oil last month at a really good price, and we went to do the oil change, and of course, we discovered that I had a leak. So we had to redo all the oil and get the oil plug, and yeah, so if you see these little marks here, of course, there's plus and minuses. That's, transaction going out, transaction coming in. But when they're highlighted like this, that means that they were on a credit card. The one with the slash through it means that it was covered. The one without a slash is not covered. That is how I keep track of if I use my credit card to make a payment and if I've covered that payment, because again, the whole goal is not to accumulate more debt. That is the goal at the end of the day. And of course, I list the 3 opportunities of me time for the day, because again, if I spend time doing these things, it means I'm not spending time spending. At least hopefully. Sometimes I do sneak these in and then I go and spend, but again, sometimes it's necessary. It's a necessary evil. Because, like, why am I going to put oil in the car whenever the oil plug is leaking? I do have to go and get it. Okay, the jet pens. I didn't need to do that, but once, which, I mean, you will see if you do follow my channel, I did a pen test mini-series, and I found out that I still do not have one of the collections of the mild liners. So, yeah. I made a purchase to get that. For some reason, that was something that I felt like I needed. Did I? No, but I did it anyways. Um, I did take a self development Procreate course. I'm loving it. It is fun. So I do still need to pay on that, and of course the marketing book. Um, but I did spend 300 some dollars on my Wix site. So again, if these two things will help me make use out of what I'm paying for the Wix site, at the end of the day, it's worth it for me. So this is normally I would say next week, but it's this week right now. And we can see that the first thing that I do is I go on and try to get most of the bills done. For this week, I try to get those paid before Wednesday, and then that way, either on Thursday or Saturday, I start going. And I guess this one's not a good one to show, but I will start working on any bills due this week. Then that way I can always try to stay ahead. Then that way it doesn't, jump up and surprise me. And, I mean, we are making some steady progress with the whole debt payoff thing. We can see we got a lot to go, but that is how much I've paid so far this year, guys. That is money I wish I had in my savings account. But, like I said, the good news is this amount is steadily going down, and then that way I don't have to think about it anymore. So, and then hopefully I could come on here and start saying what I'm doing with my money that I saved. That would be nice. So, I think this is a good place to close it out, guys. That's pretty much all I got to say for this week. Again, the focus is to pay all the remaining April bills and whatever's left over to get that extra spending handled, because like I said, there is a lot. So again, guys, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I do greatly appreciate it, and please remember to hit that like and subscribe to see more budget reviews.